Danny will speak first. So we are now ready. And by the way, all right, by the way, this lecture, the lecture series, fourth day of the lecture series is streaming live on YouTube. So if ever you haven't caught the first 3 episodes, then maybe you could actually check it on Facebook. All right. What about Dr. Wardani? Oh, there. I see Dr. Wardani already. Yeah.
Yes,
Nice to
yes.
meet you, Dr. Wardani. Right. So maybe we could start now, but before we could officially start, I would like to request everybody to use the virtual background, which is actually in our link tree. You were given the link already for the link tree so that you could download everything there from the lectures to the posters and of course the virtual background. And then may I also request that all participants will change their names on Zoom to their university acronym and then followed by the complete name of the participants. And then may I request all the participants to mute all your microphones and you will only turn them on when asked to speak or present. And then, of course, English is the official language throughout the lecture training. So all the participants must observe proper decorum. And then maybe also request that participants must use the chat box for some concerns and questions. No raising of hands, please. And then later on, after the photo session, then that's the time we will be right before the closing talks, we will be flashing the links for the evaluation for the 2 speakers and of course the training or the lecture series. So please fill those out. That would ensure a certificate of participation for everyone. So you have to type your email addresses properly so that your certificates will be sent in your emails. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. This is the 4th day of the lecture series on IT trends in education. You know, like many countries and continents all around the globe, teachers in the ASEAN were thrust into a new reality. Education shifted to e-learning almost overnight. Looking back, one major lesson from school closures is that we have a well-designed e-learning, and this can be a meaningful complement to face-to-face learning. And I must say right now, we are still into e-learning, even if we have now our face-to-face classes. This diversifies education delivery, appeals better to different learning styles, and of course, this enhances learning transfer. And of course, information technology has become a popular avenue to learn and even a platform to carry out the target competencies in almost, if not all, subjects in higher education. The ID trends in education are here to stay, whether we like it or not. And we have to embrace these trends as we go global and as we welcome internationalization and interdependence. So kudos to all of us who made it in this 4-day lecture and training. And today is the last day, but definitely the lectures today will complete our book of trends that we could use in classrooms. So to start with, may we now have the Indonesian national anthem, after which we shall have the Philippine national anthem. Indonesian national anthem, please.
Yes. It's wet, Mom. Actually, it's a difference for me. Nation to year. Not here. Try one again. Try one again. Try one again, please. Nation not here. Waalaikumsalam. Putus.
There's no screen.
I think something's happening in the internet connection. We have already shared the screen, but then now
Here, okay.
how is from the podcast computer? Excuse me, Mom Jen.
Yes.
I'm sorry for the technical error here.
Okay.
It has already shared it, but it didn't see in the screen.
Okay. So allow me to share my screen for the
Yes.
Philippine national anthem. Okay, thank you very much, MMSU faculty Caral. Now, may we welcome back the Indonesian national anthem.
Okay, Mom, we will try it again.
Okay.
Please, Miss Julia, to help us share the screen for Indonesian anthem.
All right, thank you very much. So we are on to the talk of our first speaker. But before that, let me introduce her. Okay. Our first speaker is actually an assistant professor at the Department of Information Technology, UPGRIS Semarang. He graduated with 2 masters. One, Master of Education at Semarang State University, and of course, Master of Information Systems at Diponegoro University. He is actually an active member of the different organizations in Indonesia, like the Indonesia Teachers Association, National Board Indonesian Fellowship of Scouts and Guides, and of course, take note, International Karate Organization of Indonesia. Our speaker also has published many researches in various journals and presented many researches in renowned conferences and trainings. Ladies and gentlemen, to talk about the use of Google Sites for learning materials in digital simulation practice, please welcome Assistant Professor Chudora Indriyati Wardani. Madam? Your voice, please, ma'am. Please unmute your microphone. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Saya gimana Bu? Nah, ini ya, ini kita share screen terus ini ya, ini ya. Nah. Nggak mau share ya Bu ya. Ini slide-nya, ini slide-nya nih slide. Nggak mau ya. Slide-nya kenapa? Oke, ini slide-nya. Bisa share?
We can see your screen already, ma'am.
Yes.
It's visible.
It's visible problem, ma'am.
Yes, this is get trouble. Ini trouble. Yes, can share. Oh, okay. I'm student is trouble about this. I will present our materials. Okay, thank you for time and plus you gave me to present this material. Today I will present material to participate in the use of Google Sites for learning material in digital simulation text. The first of material that I will present to present the concept of digital simulation, the scope of digital simulation, what is Google Set, the steps in creating Google Set, and example of the result of creating Google Set for learning materials. So one of the DKS materials that will be presented in the digital simulation is one of the website that can be used to compile various kinds of learning materials. Ini nggak bisa. Okay. Sorry.
Ini sudah tampil.
Nanti
Ini share
ini share ini dulu ya.
share screen.
Share
Screen dulu.
Share ini share.
Ini
Share. Terus ini screen. Share. Ini dulu ya. Oke. Okay, thank you very much. And first slide, I will be listening about digital simulation concept. What is simulation visitors? Number one, digital simulation is an activity carried out using computer software to simulate an event or situation in the real world. Digital simulation can help students to understand the concept and prepare for the increasingly digitized world outward. Okay. Number two, digital simulation is a learning method that uses information and communication technology to the development of web-based teaching materials. Digital simulation can replace less interesting and interactive lecture method. And then number three, understanding digital simulation is a learning process using information and communication technology or ICT through a website-based teaching material development. Digital simulation is one of the many types of simulation with its one way to present the image, characteristics, appearance, or characteristics of a real system. Second step, we listen about scope of digital simulation course. Based on the purpose of digital simulation, so we discuss digital simulation that scope related to cross communication in a network or online communication, and then virtual classes and also video presentation. There is a complete discussion of the scope in digital simulation. And next slide, we explain about communication in computer network for this material. Through this online communication, it is hope that individual can make the best use of the internet network to find and get supporting information that can be used in generating ideas and concepts, as well as to communicate these ideas and concepts. Online communication, it is the web communication that is carried out either at the same time or at different time. Online communication can be done by sending images or video calls so that the other person can have a conversation directly to an intermediary. On this virtual class, but virtual classroom is a study group that allows individuals to download various kinds of new formats and videos that is needed and has been provided by the speaker as well as submit the responses. Virtual classes are open and distance classes help to conduct learning that can only be attended by someone who has registered. In video presentation, one is allowed to record moving images later and also issue. Although in process of making recording techniques and editing is not easy. There are steps that must be done, such as the video process or the process of recording moving images through lenses attached to digital cameras or recorder cameras or mobile phones. I will explain concept of the website here. Website is tool for creating website or web pages for team objects, event, or other special purposes. Website is an image for creating internal website that will only be accessed by certain people with very specific features and functions. It's a way useful website. The website is where the products of the store for creating website. User can take risks of websites because it is easy for first user or user at minutes. What are you going to create Google site? some steps we have to take to decide and create a new Google site. Number one, we must determine the contents. The contents of learning material and the theme of topic. If it is city or fixed, then we immediately decide and create a new Google site for learning. Number two, we use email to make it easier to use to enter Google site, and we start writing Google sentences using the internet network. The following below is a display of the explanation above on the display. You can see second, you can click here and you can enter to the Google site. Okay, number three, we will find set with titles and some templates that we are still empty to place titles, subtitles, images, text, and videos. Because we have to create the set and we must determine the contents of the learning materials. This should have a site address, so that we can write or copy paste from Microsoft Word then choose the part that say insert text form. The query is display the screen above. You can see on right side is several templates, and you select one and you can place in set and then write the word, or you copy file from MS Word. Number four, place button and images. We can choose the type of template provided in the site. For images, we can get from the internet. That is an image file that has a JPEG format that we download it. The images we upload in the image specific template section are placed in the image template section. The following is a display of the above on several templates. Can select one of the template is beginning of the image and text. Can you place and use Google site. The image has already taken from computer and placed on this template. Okay, the computer, someone can writing directly here or copy file from Amazon. And next, number 8. If you want to upload a video, then you can choose the YouTube section. You can be made using Android. The following below is display of the explanation bar. You can select of YouTube, and you can place on the Google site, and you can select one of the several video on internet. You can log to this on YouTube template. Number 6, we have finish creating learning materials. Then we want the on part that is writing set with a title. We can write the name of the learning material. Number 7, before publishing the contents of the learning materials, then we will name the set address according to the name of the learning material. We will copy the link automatically obtained from Google site. Below is the display of the above. You can write completed material, and you can do a next application. The automatically from Google set, you have set.google.com/view/complete material instead of the domain address for your website using Google site. Number 8, after that we will get a website address from Google Site that contains the learning material that we have created. You have status link and will ready to publish to the internet. You can copy this link and can set to the Android or everyone. Number 9, teacher can make a Google form, or someone can make create new Google form. This so to collect exam can be made using Google form. It will facilitate the question of exam and exam file. It is easy to collect of exam from the student. Number 10, learning materials using the site will be easily accessible through Android, so that each student can easily open the site where link to learning materials. The content of the content in the site can be updated at any time. We can manage it easily if we can request for business activities or other activities, as well as we are skill in managing it, and so that the contents of the material is not boring if ready by readers. Some of the areas of Google Site application include number 1, free. Number 2, big and easy. Number 3, absolutely no programming and database skill required. Number 4, suitable for beginners who want to create a website for the first time. Number 5, does not require software installation. Number 6, integrated with Google application. Number 7, creators get access to from anywhere. Number 8, creators have full control over access right. And number 9 can function as a simple project manager. Some of the advantages of Google application include: number 1, only support integration with Google application and work inside. Number 2, it's US begin with Google.com// that is long and less static. Number 3, Google website of website that use programming language. So it's not suitable for professional grammar, specifically website. For example of using Google Site for learning material, some of the learning material that have been created using Google Site are as follows. That before I explain of this link, I teach simulation digital, and I teach how to create of the website Google Site. You will click learning material of data acquisition part 1, and then learning material of business electronic, learning material about Canva tutorial, learning material on how to click e-commerce. When by then we can learn this learning material. Okay. Is a display but material learning for data communication system and network, computer and network. This type of contents or data easy for the materials consist of the international umum, khusus and komunikasi data. And then this combine of the image and text and this material. This combine for one text for the image, and then is a video. You can watch this video, and this link Google form is available. So to easy, the student can be submit of their SEM and segment for the teacher, and then this visitors contact and this contact the student can be contact to the teacher how to get out the problem. Then the student get had the problem in their study or practice method learning on website or Google Set. And then the method of business electronic. This one electronic business course on electronic business course the users and owner and customer can be got of transaction of business. The customer can order this product to the business through this WhatsApp business here. Online Canvas tutorial method learning for Canvas Canvas application is available how to create step by step to create of cover book, leaflet, or etc. Can someone can be operate and design, create, and how to make some material on Canvas application. Here on how to create e-commerce. This is Fiverr how to design and create e-commerce of Google Set basics. Step one by one. You can see all this material for e-commerce. And someone easy to create e-commerce. We use Google Set. Okay. The following is view of its website created using the Google Set application, and this is display of the characteristic of the website using Google Set. Is someone finished create a website using Google Set. On slide, the following is the title of the article and its research article that discuss Google Set developed for learning media has been published in the SNLP National Seminar. So as for ethical community service in the form of online business that also use Google Set have been published in the Electronic Business Journal and SNLP National Seminar. Article that have been published experts elder and write digital marketing practice book for a business course and so elder. I try develop Google Set from business activities, from material learnings. Because it is simulation, digital simulation to the student in the university. Thank you. I will finish listen to these materials. That's all. Thank you very much. See you again.
Okay, thank you very much, Assistant Professor Chidora Indriyati Wardani, for your very informative talk, of course, on the use of Google sites for learning materials in digital simulation practice. Later on, we shall have the question and answer portion. But in the meantime, we welcome another speaker. This time, of course, from the Mariana Marcos State University. Allow me to introduce him. Actually, he is also an assistant professor at Mariano Marcos State University College of Teacher Education. He previously worked as a master teacher too at the Ilocos Norte College of Arts and Trades, Department of Education. He earned his doctorate in educational management and master's degree in mathematics education from MMSU. He's also an author of several mathematics workbooks for national circulation. And during the 2017 National Schools Press Conference, he was actually named as one of the Philippines' most outstanding school paper advisors. He was also a national finalist in the DOST SEI sponsored Search for Brightest Star in 2020. And in 2021, he was named a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert and Trainer, a Praise Educator, a Wakelet Ambassador, or Wakelet Ambassador, and a Flip Student Voice Ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Mark Joseph D. Pastor in his talk, Navigating the Digital Frontier, Unlocking the Potential of Assessment in IT Education. Dr. Mark, please.
Hello, thank you so much, Professor Jeanette Dials. Am I being heard?
Yes, you are.
Clear?
Yeah, very, very clear.
Okay, thank you so much again, Professor Dials, and good afternoon to all the participants. Good afternoon to the participants from Indonesia. We have Indonesian teachers and students. I would like also to greet our students from the Philippines, especially from the Mariano Marcos State University. We have here our Chinese students from the Doctor of Education program. We also have here our mathematics majors from MMSU and other students taking up different degree programs in the university. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, and I'm so honored to be speaking or discussing a topic with all of you. This is my second session because the first session I talked about having fun in IT education. And now we will be discussing a little bit serious, but it's also significant. It's about assessment. So allow me to share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can. Very clear.
So thank you so much. So my talk is on navigating the digital frontier, unlocking the potential of assessment in IT education. So this wonderful endeavor or project or activity was spearheaded by, of course, Greece, Mariano Marcos State University, and in partnership with Metrobank Foundation. Yes. So this is all about assessment. So together we will examine the power of innovative assessment techniques, including interactive simulations, coding challenges, and project-based evaluations. So this is something very close to my heart because I have been in trainings regarding assessment, and I was invited for several webinars and trainings about assessment. So I am here to share with you what I know about assessment, and with a little bit of twist because we are integrating ICT or IT in the assessment of student learning. So it's really important for us to know or to realize that the concept of classroom assessment is not only about grading our students or putting a numerical value on the level of performance of students. All right, so before we could actually start our learning objectives or we plan our lessons, we have to work backwards in a way that we should know what we're going to assess for that particular topic. And with that note, it's important also to know what do we really mean by classroom assessment. So it says here, it is an ongoing process of identifying, gathering, organizing, and interpreting quantitative. So we're talking about numbers, we're talking about levels of performance, we're talking about scales, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1.0, 2.0. So those are quantitative, but also qualitative information. So these are information that include their performance in listening, in speaking, in delivering the lesson or presenting the lesson. So these are qualitative information about what learners know and what they can do. All right, so I know that we have teachers who are participants here and we know exactly what we mean by classroom assessment. For the students, of course, when the teachers are giving you some quizzes or if they're giving you some performance tasks, authentic assessment activities, then you know that the teachers are really assessing what are the things that you know about the topic and what else can you do to further enhance your learning about certain lessons. Because remember, research studies have shown that giving assessment to students can actually enhance their learning outcomes. It can increase their performance. So it's really important for us teachers to design a very good assessment in order to really test the capabilities of our students. Well, it all depends on our objectives because we have different types of classroom assessment, right? So we have formative and summative assessment. So if we talk about formative, it is a process that involves teachers using evidence about what learners know and can do, to inform and improve their teaching. So it's formative. So I can have formative assessment in the beginning of the lesson or in the middle of the lesson or at the end of the lesson. So it's just to assess whether the students really understand what you are discussing or if there are points of clarification from the students, then these are things that the teachers should address immediately. So we call that formative assessment. Summative assessment is an assessment that usually administered towards the end of the learning period to measure the extent to which the learners have mastered the essential learning competencies. So we usually conduct summative assessment at the end of a chapter of the lesson or at the end of the semester or at the end of the school year. We call that achievement tests in the Philippines. So these are types of summative assessment. So that's really important. What are your goals? What are your objectives in assessing student learning? That's number one that you have to establish first before designing your assessment tasks. So, of course, when you have formative assessment, you establish clear learning targets and success criteria. Do they understand the lesson or is it a little bit blurry or muddy? That means that the students do not understand basically what you are teaching. And provide success criteria. Oh, if they are answering the questions correctly, then they must know the answer. So they must understand the lesson. You can also elicit useful evidences of learning during formative assessment. And you can also provide effective feedback. Okay. And for summative assessment, you can have written works for performance tasks. So these are actually authentic assessment tasks that require the students to really involve their critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, analytical thinking skills in doing the said performance. So it's not just a paper and pencil test, but it involves the abilities, the critical thinking, the analytical thinking skills of the students. So in the traditional method, we have selected response and constructed response or written works, like multiple choice. I'm sorry, I believe there is someone who is not muted. Okay. So we have multiple choice, matching type, true or false, brief responses, creation of graphic organizers. For performance tasks, you can let the students create or innovate products, or they can have skills demonstrations, group presentations, oral work. So there are so many assessment activities that you can provide to your students. But the question is, ladies and gentlemen, how do we really integrate ICT in our assessment? What are the online tools that we can utilize in assessing student learning? Because, you know, we are now in the digital era. So whether we like it or not, as teachers or as students, we have to embrace the power and the potential of ICT in education. So ICT is here to stay. In fact, it's progressing every minute, every hour, every year. So there will be new applications, new softwares, new online tools to be introduced in the next months to come. So we really have to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade. What are the things that are coming in? How do I do this? How am I going to utilize this in my classes, right? So I actually look into the most popular online tools, and because there are lots of online tools you can use in assessment. So I look into the most popular and the most convenient for teachers. And I hope that you will also apply it and integrate it in your respective classes. So as you can see, we have here some icons. How many of these icons do you know? Can you type in our group chat, in our chat box? How many icons here do you know? Just the number, because there are 15 icons. How many of these icons are you familiar with? Will you type? Even the students, please participate. How many of these do you know? Okay, Darwin said 5. How about the rest? How many of these icons are you familiar with? Because by just looking at the icons, you know exactly what application is this, right? So we have here 15, and if you can actually identify 5, then that's already good. Okay, so I will be discussing some of these, but just to identify some. This one, if you can see my cursor, this is Microsoft Forms, this is Google Forms, this is Kahoot, this is Quiz, this is Mentimeter, of course, the famous Google Classroom, the Quicker School, okay, the Moodle, the Schoology, the Flip, the Edpuzzle, Play, Pause It, Pear Deck, and Padlet. So, you know, these are all online tools, but they have different functions. Okay, some are learning management systems. That means it's actually like a Google Classroom, wherein you have the grading system, you have the courses, you have the lessons. So they have different functions. So as teachers, you have to understand how each application works so that you would best choose the most appropriate application for your particular lesson. Okay, so if you're talking about formative assessment, you want to know if the students are able to understand what you are teaching at the moment, then you can have formative assessment. And you can use different online tools. You can use Mentimeter, Kahoot, or Quizizz. Okay. I actually look into the features of these three assessment tools, and I summarized it into this. So for Mentimeter, you can have word cloud. Later, I will show what's word cloud, but I think you're already familiar with this one. We have open-ended questions, but it doesn't have poll. It can have pin on image. It has multiple choice type answer, and you can use your content slides. So it's like PowerPoint presentation. You can make slides on Mentimeter. For Kahoot, you can also have content slides and multiple choice. I'm talking about the free features because if you upgrade this to premium, then obviously you can have all the features. But you know, it's also a matter of allocating fund for the school and what subscription would you like to have. And then we have quizzes. All right, you can have open-ended questions, you can have poll, all right, like a quick survey, and you can have also multiple choice, type answer, checkbox, and content slides. So yeah, what do you really want to do? Do you really want to let the students think of words that they can associate with the topic? Then you can use Mentimeter. Or do you want to have a quick quiz for your students? Then you can have Kahoot. Or do you want to have, a quiz where the students can type their answers? Then use Quizizz. Okay. All right. So to show you what I mean by Mentimeter. Okay. This one. Can you see the Mentimeter? Yes. I will copy
Yeah,
it.
we can see.
Okay, I will copy it and then I will paste it on
That.
the chat so you can see how it works. Okay, kindly please click on the link and then answer the question. What are the words that you can associate with the term assessment? Okay, so I want everyone to participate. I'm requiring my students, the math majors and the Chinese students to answer. Okay, so homework. Okay, very good. So when we talk about assessment, okay, I'm letting my students do some activities that they can take home, and then we will check the next day when they report back to school. Yes, evaluation. We're trying to assess students' learning, right? Tests. Okay, so when you talk about assessment, we're going to have the test. So the bigger the size of the font, the more number of responses. Okay, that means more students or more participants are answering evaluation than that of quiz. So this is actually how word cloud works and Mentimeter. So this is a very good formative assessment, right? So to test whether they really understand what we mean by assessments or whatever topic that you're trying to discuss with your students. And then the most important thing about this is to process the responses. You have to process it. Okay, so you have to ask the students, oh, why did you answer mastering the knowledge? Why did you associate the word value with assessment? So you ask those questions to further validate if the students really understood what they answered on Mentimeter, right? Okay, so this is a quick glimpse on how Mentimeter works. Now I'm going back to my slide. So this is, the next one is about assessment tools for written works. This is actually very popular, but some of the teachers misuse, okay, the Google Forms and Microsoft Forms. So it's really important for you to know, why am I using these tools? Is it appropriate? Okay, so if you try to compare Microsoft Forms and Google Forms, we have this one. Both have multiple choice, they have text, but for Google Forms, they don't have ranking. Like for example, please rank the following elements according to your choice. Okay, but for Microsoft Forms, it doesn't have time element. And for Google Forms, it doesn't have net promoter score. So when we talk about net promoter score, it's like a scale level. Okay, from 1 to 10, how happy are you with the talk of Mr. Joseph Pastor? So it's a net promoter score. So you can have that on Microsoft Forms. So the point here is you have to know what exactly you want to assess, so that you would know whether you will use the forms, and when you use these forms, which one will we use? Is it the Microsoft Forms or the Google Forms? Because both are okay. It's just how you're able to, it's just how you integrate it in your assessment. Okay. And now we're going to another kind of assessment tools. We have the Edpuzzle and PlayPosit. So these are ICT tools with video responses, or that involve videos. Okay, to understand better, may I share a video? Okay. Sorry. Please let me know if you can hear the background music. Can you hear it?
Not yet, sir.
Yes?
Yeah, we can.
Take a look at what's new.
Okay.
Teacher Assist offers the next generation of support to save teachers valuable time grading and lesson planning. Have you always wanted to be able to grade short answer questions with the click of a button? Now you can. Just add your ideal answer for open-ended question, and Edpuzzle will compare it to students' responses to suggest a grade. Amazing. Want to create questions with the click of a button? Use the Generate Questions tool to ask Edpuzzle to suggest and embed questions in your video for you. Take video learning in your class to the next level using the playlist feature. You can now group your lessons into set playlists for students. Create one for the unit your class is working on as a review for an upcoming test, or anything else you can imagine. The possibilities are endless. Want to give your students the option to listen to a question and answer choices? Now you can record audio for your questions so students can listen to them, read them, or do both as they complete your video lessons. We know you love the closed captions on our Edpuzzle originals, And now we're happy to share that closed captions are available for all videos uploaded to Edpuzzle. We hope your students enjoy the increased accessibility while using Edpuzzle. Freshen up your Edpuzzle superpowers with our updated self-paced PD courses, including the brand new 2024 Coach Certification, with examples of how teachers all over the world use Edpuzzle in their curriculum. Your students will love the changes we've made to the Edpuzzle app. That's now safer, faster, and includes all of our new features. With stricter content moderation filters, you can rest assured that your students will always be protected from inappropriate content while using Edpuzzle. So how will you use all of Edpuzzle's new tools and features? We'll see you soon with more updates on the best video learning platform for educators everywhere.
Okay. So that's Edpuzzle, ladies and gentlemen. It's more like you look for a video that fits your topic, and then by you can actually include or insert questions in any part of the video. You get my point? Like, for example, they're trying to make a video about the loss of motion. And then you can stop the video and then you can insert questions like, why do you think we need to use a seatbelt when driving a car? And then the students will answer that. And then when they answer, the video will again play. And then later on, the students will realize if his or her answer is correct. So it's Edpuzzle. And there's also a new feature, which I'm so excited about. It's the closed caption, wherein, you know, the captions are shown on the bottom part of the video so that it actually caters to children with learning disabilities. So if they don't, you know, if they cannot listen very well to the sound or to the audio of the video, then maybe they can read the captions. All right. So it's like more on fostering inclusivity while using this application. PlayPosit is also another video video application, and let us see how it works.
Hey students, in this video, I'm going to be introducing PlayPosit to you. Now, PlayPosit is a program that allows students to watch videos on their own time to learn the material. At the bottom of the PlayPosit, you can see different places where there are white dots. That's going to have the students either pause or respond to a question, like this one. Some other types of responses could include polls, like I may ask which of these 4 dogs is your favorite. I could also have a free response type of question, like asking why you chose the dog in the previous question. There's plenty of different types of questions with multiple choice, fill in the blank, and there's also opportunities to skip ahead. Like if I was going to ask you which of these 4 dogs is wearing a pumpkin hat, and if you incorrectly chose the one of the dogs that was not wearing the pumpkin hat, I need to further explain how this one has an orange and green looking pumpkin hat. But in any case, you can get that further explanation if needed. Question. See. Now, just to give you some insight on the teacher's perspective, I'm able to track a lot of different information from the students in a chart. I can see who has completed the PlayPosit. I can see how much time they have spent on the PlayPosit. I can also see specific responses and see if any of the problems were skipped over, not completed. I can even look at specific answers and see if students got part of it correct, and just different ways to see how they responded. Now, I prefer if students use their Inside School of Washington email, but if you did log in using a different email, that's fine. I just need you to check up here by hovering over the icon in the top left and making sure that this name is the same as how you would see it in our gradebook. If you need to edit it, go ahead and click there and make sure your first name is as is listed in our gradebook and the last name, if you need to change that as well, and you can save. Now, for just some general expectations for this class, I want students to try to do the play process with their best of their effort. It's okay if you don't get all the problems correct, but I just want to see that you tried your best on all of them to earn credit for them. Next, I want students to take notes during the videos. Having a math notebook is going to be really handy while you're watching them. You can also just use some blank paper that you keep organized somewhere, or you can type up notes, anything that you can reference for when you take your tests and assignments. Last, I still expect students to attend our live sessions. There will be fewer of them since I want you to do the play deposits on your own time, but still attend those live sessions for any extra practice that may be needed. And that's pretty much a higher level overview of how play deposits are going to work in this course. Hey, students. in this
Okay,
video-
so this is also a very interesting or a similar application, which is PlayPosit. So you can actually provide this for independent learning to your students. So you're able to assess the students, and at the same time, you're giving them the freedom to do it on their own. So you're giving them the opportunity to take ownership of their own learning, which is now what is expected of us teachers to foster 21st century teaching and learning. All right, so if you have not yet tried Edpuzzle and PlayPosit, you can, maybe this is the sign for you to start integrating these applications in your respective classes. And now, let's talk about performance tasks. So, there's so many things that you can give to your students as their performance tasks, like reflection papers, research papers, digital portfolios, campaign logs, interviews, art projects, online debates, and a lot more. So it's also important for you to determine the appropriate performance task for a learning strand. So what exactly do you want the students to do? Okay, so because remember, in a performance tasks, it is not limited to a single correct answer. And it should be contextualized based on real life problems. And it should provide proof of learners' understanding through transfer. Okay, so in this specific kind of assessment, you need to provide a rubric. Okay, a rubric is a learning and assessment tool used to evaluate written outputs, products, or performance-based tasks. It's important for the students how they will be evaluated, because they will be asking you, how are you going to score our outputs, sir or ma'am? So you have to be ready. Okay, so I'll be giving 50 points for the creativity, 30 points for the technical aspects. So you have to provide the rubrics, okay? So you put the task description or task title, scale, components, and description of the performance quality. And then, again, what online tools are you going to use or to let the students upload their performance-based outputs? So some of you might be saying, oh, we can have a Gmail, we can have Google Drive, we can have Messenger. But if you try to use this, you will be bombarded with lots of messages in your email, and you don't know from what section again is this a student, or if you have Messenger, maybe you will have messages from the students and then your friends and then your family members. So it's all mixed up. Okay, the Google Drive may not be safe, quite some time because the students can edit it and they might, accidentally delete the outputs of other students. Although these are good, maybe you can have other options in having your assessments in the performance of the students, assessment of the performance of the students. So flip is one. I already discussed this last time, so I'm not going to explain this anymore. But this is a video response where students can express their opinions about a certain topic. You just have to give a very good question or prompt for the students. You can also have Padlet and Wakelet. So what's Padlet? So it actually looks like this. So for Padlet, it's like this, okay? So you can let the students submit their outputs, okay? Like this one. This is the Padlet output of my students under the EDB program. So we talked about equity and equality. So I asked them to share what image best portrays equity and equality. So they come up with these images, and then I let them explain it. Okay, what is good here is that the students can actually see the outputs of other students, right? Unlike email, it's a student to teacher interaction, but here it's like a social discussion board where the students and teachers can see it and they can comment on each other's output. So you can actually use this in your classes. It's Padlet. Wakelet, if you want the students to have portfolio, electronic portfolio, then they can have Wakelet. Okay, so for example, here my students under the math class, so they created their own portfolio. So if I click one students here, it actually shows all of the topics or all of the outputs of my students. So it's a digital portfolio. So if you want to grade the students, it's very handy, it's very convenient because you are just looking into one or a single web page. We do not have to go through different web pages or through your emails just to check the outputs of one person. They can actually have one collection showing all their outputs. So you can have this. You can have this platform. It's called Wakelet. It can be used for student digital portfolios. So I actually created a Wakelet collection about my topic here. So I actually included all YouTube videos, my PPT, my PowerPoint, and some PDF tools that you can use. Okay, so it's all here. It's one collection. I'm going to share it now. I'm going to copy the link and I'm going to share it in our group chat so you can save that. So yeah, you can just click that and then, you have now a single collection of related topics on online assessment strategies for meaningful learning. Isn't it amazing, right? You don't have to give so many links. You just give one link and it's all there. Okay, so tips in assessing students online: utilize a user-friendly media platform for easy information dissemination of announcements. So for me, I use Messenger for announcements because that's the fastest way of reaching out to students. Well, for Indonesia students and teachers, I think they're using WhatsApp. All right, I think that's the most popular. Then you can use WhatsApp, all right, or WeChat for my Chinese students. And then use at most 3 online platforms in assessing student learning. At most 3 only. You may want to use, I'm going to use Padlet, I'm going to use Flip, I'm gonna use Play Posit, I'm gonna use Edpuzzle, and then students are overwhelmed. You can introduce 3 platforms at a time per semester. Okay, and then collaborate with your co-teachers on the kind of online platforms to be utilized at each grade level. Of course, we are also promoting collaboration, not only among the students, but among teachers. So you try to check, can you collaborate with the science teachers and come up with a very good performance tasks integrating ICT tools? Well, if you can, it's a very good one. And well, this is, needless to say, this is a collaboration between MMS and UPCRIS. So thank you so much. This is a wonderful endeavor, and I'm so honored to be part of this. Thank you for having me. Shout out to Ma'am Jeanette Dias for always tapping on my shoulder, for always tapping my field of expertise for activities like this. Another one, tips in assessing students online, orient the students first on how to use the online platform. This is very important. And before you can orient the students, please find time to also to look into the application. You have to learn first before you can teach it to the students. Okay. And then provide meaningful feedback to students. Okay, so you let them answer on Google Forms. Make sure that there's a feedback. Oh, your score is this one. If you use Flip, you respond to the video. I like your arguments in the video, but I would prefer if you include topics on blah blah blah. So you provide feedback because the students need this, so that they know if they're doing it right or if they need further assistance. And then choose appropriate platform or assessment tool. There are thousands of online tools now. Please choose the right one. And you have to know that different appropriate platforms may be appropriate to different kinds of students. It may work for section A, but it may not work for section B. So you have to know your students. If you want to know more about online assessment tools, I cannot discuss all of them. Please just screenshot this one and it will lead you to a web page that contains all the online assessment tools that you can perhaps adapt in your respective classes. Okay, with that being said, I thank you all for listening and for participating in my talk titled Navigating the Digital Frontier, Unlocking the Potential of Assessment in IT Education. So thank you so much. Maraming salamat po. See you again in future international lectures series of UPCRIS and MMS, if given the chance. I'm Jeanette.
Thank you, Dr. Pastor, for the enlightening presentation, I think.
Thank
We
you.
will wait for Professor Jenna.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Ah,
I'm here now. Thank you very much. Really, that was very comprehensive, very informative. I learned a lot actually from your presentation, Dr. Pastor. And definitely you expect that some of us, if not all of us, will be using this in our classrooms, especially so when we give our assessments to our students. And not only assessments, since every university is now internet connected. We have our internet in our campuses. I'm sure we can also use this one in our classes. And with that, we are very thankful for introducing different applications actually in our conduct of classes, not only for assessments, but of course, when it comes to even giving our other activities, whether it be pre or during or post activities in our classes. And we are very, very thankful to the both of you, Assistant Professor Theodora and of course Dr. Pastor, for making this rainy day in the Philippines one that is very memorable and noteworthy. Okay,
Is it
so
still
we
raining?
now it
Is
is
it still
raining.
raining?
Yes,
Ah,
yes, Professor. Yes, Ibo. Actually,
yeah.
the Kiawit River, where MMSU is actually located, or we are near the Kiawit River, it's already almost full.
Yeah.
It's a
Quite
heavy
cloudy
downpour
here.
here in Batak. I'm actually here in Batak, and we are all
Batak.
worried when we go out, when we go home later on, because the water is already at a higher level.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it's raining hard here in Batak. Yeah, but then nobody can stop us from, conducting an activity such as this, because this will definitely help our teachers and would-be teachers in
Yeah.
facing uh, their challenges as teachers, especially when it comes to conducting activities inside the classroom or outside. All right, so we now welcome on the floor questions for our two able speakers. You may now type your questions in the chat box for our two speakers. We have ample time for discussion. Okay, there are still some who want to be admitted in the room. Maybe I would ask the first question to Assistant Professor Theodora. She actually discussed to us about the use of Google Sites for learning materials and digital simulation practice. Ibo, what are the challenges that students or teachers or educators meet in using these Google Sites for learning materials? Maybe we could mention some of the challenges and maybe an advice coming from you on how to battle this challenges, or how to meet these common challenges when we use Google Sites for learning materials. Okay, may we request now Assistant Professor Theodora to answer the question.
Yes, please, Ma'am Indri.
Uh, Challenge, okay, I will answer this question. How to compose of the material Google set. We must determine of the contents, and I'm sorry, must determine of the topic theme, and then we must prepare of the material to compose to the Google set. And we must thinking for the contents can be the content can be updated for any time, so the reader not boring to read these contents. And Google Set is very easy to develop by someone is the experience to create of the website using Google Site.
Okay, so it really entails a lot of preparation coming from our speaker. Yes, indeed, Madam. Okay, thank you very much for answering the question. Any other question for Assistant Professor Theodora Indriati? You are free to use the chat box for your questions, please.
Okay, Okay, PE.
You may use the chat box for questions. Anybody? Or okay, so maybe I will welcome a show of hands or a raising of hands for the question to be addressed to Professor or Assistant Professor Theodora Indiati.
Oh,
Do you have some questions for her, ladies and gentlemen?
bebas niya. Diba?
Okay, so you may just type this time. May I also have another question for our second speaker, Dr. Pastor. Maybe you could
Okay.
also give us some pieces of advice, especially for the newbies. I believe there are some new teachers who are here and pre-service teachers who will be teaching soon after this semester, Doctor. Maybe you can give also some pieces of advice to these educators or would-be educators when they will use apps for assessment. Dr. Pastor, your camera froze. Oh, okay. And then please unmute. Unmute, Dr. Pastor, please unmute. Your microphone is off.
Like,
All right, there you go. Oh, what happened? He went
Pastor
offline.
is
I think all those from Lawag went offline.
so low
Be due
is
to
most
the
of the
condition that we have right now.
so
Dr.
you
Pastor,
and Dr. Pastor are in the different places now.
yeah, we are from different places right now.
Ah,
I am in Batak because it's a Tuesday, so we stay here. I stay here and okay, there you go.
it's coming.
All right, there you go,
okay.
Dr. Pastor.
Yeah,
Maybe you could also give some pieces of advice for newbies and would-be teachers when they use applications that you have presented in their lessons, most especially in assessment, in conducting assessments.
Okay, thank you so much for the question, ma'am. My advice or my tips for the teachers and students who are newbies are number one to, embrace technology. That's number one. There should be no resistance in learning the potentials of IT or ICT in assessment. Because if you are willing to learn, then you could go further. You can explore, you can discover a lot of possibilities when using or integrating ICT. And number two, you have to know your learning objectives. What are you trying to assess? What do you want to evaluate? What is your purpose in doing this assessment? And number three, you have to design or you have to choose appropriate online tools in doing your assessment because it can make or break the learning that's taking place in your classes. So that's really important. There are so many online tools, very beautiful online tools, but if it is misused, then it may not be maximized for your teaching or for the teaching and learning process. And number four, you do not stop learning because the application which is new today may not be new anymore, and you keep on upgrading. You keep on attending trainings. You keep on exploring because ICT is evolving every time. So we also need to upgrade ourselves. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Pastor. Wow, powerful pieces of advice coming from him. Okay. And of course, Ibo Agnita is raising her hand. She would like to say a few words. Ibo, you now have the virtual floor.
Yes, I would like to ask more question to Dr. Pastor. It is an interesting topic for me, particularly as Professor Janet said before, that this evaluation remains important for both pre-service and in-service teacher. Even for me as a lecturer, and in Indonesia, we just implement Kurikulum Merdeka. So we have like assessment before entering the learning process. We call it as a diagnostic assessment. So the function is to measure how the difficulty that the students facing. And then in the end of the sessions, we should provide the students by giving them like the remedial for the lower achiever and then the enrichment for the higher achiever. And then while listening your presentation, it's interesting for me to know more about the performance task assessment, right? We also implemented the project-based learning where it is supporting for the critical thinking and student creative thinking. Then we involve is that the formative assessment? Is that right? In the process or in the middle of the learning process. So what do you think about the performance assessment for students while they are doing kind of project, like they are solving the problem by doing or solving the project itself? Do you think that it is possible for implementing this kind of assessment or any other more specific assessment to be implemented?
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, we're also using the same strategy. We have diagnostic tests before the start of the school year to measure what do the students know about a certain topic. And then at the end of the semester or school year for basic education, we conduct achievement tests to measure the learning competencies mastered by the students. And with regards to your question on performance tasks, I think it's really important to give the students the opportunity to take ownership of their own learning. And we are so very lucky because we live in a digital era where we can integrate ICT tools in order to do this. So I believe, yeah, I think, why not? We let the students do their projects, their performance on their own, because the ICT tools have indicators on the kind of progress that the students are making. You can see it. The ICT applications have data analytics where you can see the students' progress, like where did they stop watching the video? Did they answer it right? Did they have multiple attempts before arriving at the correct answers? So these analytics can actually give you feedback on the performance of students. So it's not just like, oh, I'm giving the students the freedom to do it on his own. I'm not sure if he is the one doing it. Well, that could be another issue. But if we give trust to our students, or if we foster academic honesty, then I think there will be no problems about that, because our goal is to help them learn on their own, and also to assess what they have learned in order for them to succeed at the end of every lesson. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Pastor. Do you still have some questions, Ibo Agnita?
All right. I would like to respond to the what's that? The use of Kahoot, I think, from your presentation, right? We are using Kahoot, commonly used in the elementary school assessment. But then we are rarely use that kind of assessment for junior, maybe also for senior high school in Indonesia, because we thought that by using this kind of assessment, we will, I'm afraid that we will miss the component that we have to measure, like for the conceptual understanding, and then like how the students communicate. So my question is, I just wondering whether this kind of application like Kahoot and Mentimeter maybe also utilized in the elementary level in your country, or it is only for particular level?
Hmm.
That's a very good question. Kahoot quizzes have fun elements. They have, you
Mhm.
know, it's like game-based assessment.
Mhm.
So the students are enjoying this kind of activity. So it's very important to note what kind of students uh, are are you having this assessment with. So if you say elementary, then maybe they will enjoy using Kahoot. But if you try to use it in higher education, because at elementary we're college students, well, they might enjoy it at first, but at some time, if you keep on using it, then maybe they're not used to that anymore because they might think that it's for kids. So again, my point is you really have to know your students. And if you try
Right.
this assessment and if it doesn't work, then maybe it's not for them. Maybe, it works for other type of students. So but there are also high school students who love Kahoot, who love games. So you really have to try it for yourself and see if you can use it for quite some time, or you need to look for another one which may be more appropriate for them.
All right. So it is important to have a look how the student characteristic before we design the assessment, right? Also, we have to consider the material as well. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Pastor and Dr. Janet.
All right,
This
thank
is
you.
most interesting.
Okay, thank you, Ibo Agnita. Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Pastor. You actually gave us several good punchlines, like you have to know your students so that you know what application you will use. That's definitely a big yes. Okay. And of course, it's a case-to-case basis, really. There are there are some topics that would be good for a particular application or applications. So we have to really explore as teachers, as educators, we really have to explore the world of information technology, especially so that it's ever changing. You were saying what is new now may not be new in the next few months. So we keep on learning, we keep on achieving. Hashtag achieving more, hashtag achieve. That's from MMSU's tagline of our president, Dr. Shirley C. Agrupis. And we must say, IT education is in. And I am in. I am in Ilocos Norte. That's pretty, a very good tagline too. So to put this program to a close, may we now welcome the Director of the Office of Cooperation and International Affairs of Universitas PGRI Semarang for his closing remarks. And to be followed, of course, by our Director for Internationalization, Linkages and Partnership, Dr. BJ Domingo. So, Dr. Noor first, please.
Mbak Natasha? Wait, mom.
I can request Dr. Mijay to deliver the closing remarks of MMSU first. If Dr. Noor is not online yet. Ibo.
Yes, mom, I'm sorry. I think
Okay.
Dr. Noor for another meeting.
Oh, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Director for Internationalization, Linkages, and partnership, Dr. Mijay Domingo. Okay. I would like to Dr. Mijay to be with us. All right, hold on.
To our competent speakers, Dr. Mark Joseph de Pastor of NMSU and Assistant Professor Theodora Indeati Guardanio of Greece, to the Internationalization Bureau of Greece, Dr. Nur Hidayat, to the eloquent moderator of this lecture series and the Chief for Faculty and Student Development of MMSU, Professor Jeanette G. Dials, participants, good afternoon. I want to start this message by sharing with you what Gabriel Chamberlain has to say about education, and I quote, "Education is evolving due to the impact of the internet. We cannot teach our students in the same manner in which we were taught. Change is necessary to engage students, not in the curriculum we are responsible for teaching, but in school, period." End of quote. And for me, the change that educational institutions need to embrace is to put IT education into practice, to build learning communities that are adaptive and adaptive in today's information age. This international lecture series titled Exploring IT Education Trends captured perfectly what everybody here wants to do in their classrooms, to teach the way this generation wants to be taught, not the way we were taught. So I only have 2 words to say to close this closing program. That is, thank you. Thank you, Mariano Marcos State University and the Universitas PGRI Semarang for organizing this event. Surely you are faithful to your mandate in improving the quality of education, all for the improvement of the quality of our graduates. Thank you, Dr. Pastor and Associate Professor Wardani, for sharing your time and expertise with our participants. I know this shows your commitment to creating quality learning environments. Thank you, dear participants, for allowing us to be a part of your professional development. It may be too soon for me to ask you about the impact of this lecture series, but I hope in due time you will feel the benefits of this learning experience in your career as educator. To everyone, this is not the end of the lecture series, but rather the beginning of a more productive and meaningful teaching and learning experience in our classrooms. Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Dr. Mijay Domingo, the Director for Internationalization, Linkages and Partnership of the Mariano Marcos State University. That's our debonair boss. Okay, so maybe now welcome Dr. Noor.
I'm sorry, Mom Jenna, because Dr. Noor is on another meeting,
Oh, okay,
so
yes.
I am on behalf of the Director of the International Office as the coordinator of the collaboration and international affair from Faculty Education of Mathematics, Sciences, and Technology Information, Universitas PGRI Semarang. I would like to convey my heartfelt and gratitude appreciate for the MMSU committee, then for the Dr. Domingo and Professor Janet, Dr. Pastor, Dr. Fabio, and all the students from MMSU and also from Universitas PGRI Semarang for your active participation and then for the willingness to attend for all sessions during this lecture series. Hopefully, we could also develop and expand our collaboration for another opportunity
Yeah.
for anything that we have already observed. Hopefully, will be beneficial for all together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibo Agnita. All in all, we have registered, we have 282 registered participants since day
Wow.
one in the IT lecture series. So to the 282 participants, thank you very much. So we now request you to fill out the forms. The link is actually already sent in the chat. We have the link for the training evaluation form, the link also for speaker 1 and speaker 2 evaluation. And after all of the forms shall be filled out, you will receive in your email a certificate of participation. Please give 1 to 2 days for the processing of this, but it's automatic once you are done, it goes to your email though. But then again, you know, at MMSU right now we have problems with our internet connection, but rest assured that your certificates will be sent via your email. That is if you submitted all the evaluation forms and of course the training evaluation form also. Evaluation forms for speakers and the training evaluation form for the entire training. And then please, you should also be registered. The link is also posted. So try to visit the link tree given to you so that you can actually do all the tasks assigned of you to do so that you will have your certificate of participation. So once again, to all of you, thank you for attending these 4-day lecture series course training. Yes, Ibo?
Thank you. Ma'am, sorry, how about for the speaker from UPGRIS? Do we have
The
to fill the
speaker,
form as
yes,
well?
we have already. I will be sending you through email the
All right.
certificate
So,
of recognition for our speakers, Ibo.
right. Okay,
Likewise,
thank you.
we also expect the certificate of recognition coming from UPGRIS to our speakers from MMSU, Dr. Mark Joseph Pastor, and of course, Dr. Reggie Fabro. We would also request a certificate of appreciation for our tech team coming from UPGRIS.
Okay, thank you
So
very
I will be
much.
sending you an email, Doctor. All right. So
Let's have a
this
photo.
yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, of course. Now let's have the the photo opportunity. Actually, I've been taking photos unknown to all of you, but then we have to open our videos so that we could have a more beautiful take for posterity's sake. All right, please open your cameras for our photo opportunity. All right. First panel, ready? Open your cameras, please. Flash your most beautiful smile. Shout out to our Chinese students taking up their doctoral classes in MMSU. Shout out also to Dr. Bert, who is also with us here. And shout out to my Shusins from the different DepEd schools of Ilocos Norte and Lawag City. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, next, second panel. 1, 2, 3. All right, and there is a third. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there you go. So that ends our series. We expect to have you again in another activity sponsored by UPGRIS and of course MMSU for mathematics education, social studies education, and English education. So to all of you, mabuhay. And how do you say thank you in Indonesia? Salamat pagi?
Terima kasih.
Kasih. Oh, okay. Terima kasih, everyone.
Terima kasih.
All right. So thank
Bye.
you very much.
Thank you
Bye
very
for
much. See you again.
now.
Selamat.
Please accomplish the forms so that you can have a certificate, participants. We need this for our evaluation in our universities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Dr. Pastor, they need your presentation in the link that I sent together with Dr. Fabro. Thank you.
I already uploaded now. My
Okay,
two
thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pastor.
Thank you, Dr. Mark Yusuf Pastor. Thank you very much.
Thank
everyone.
you, Professor Indriati. See you again in our
Thank
next
you.
meeting.
Yeah.
Ibu Agnita, I'll
Thank you
email
very
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Init. Thank you.
Tinsela, thank you. You're the only one with the certificate today.